Hi everyone, my name is Sawyer. If you don't know me, I'm a climber here at Vertical Immersive. Today I just want to talk to you guys about, my mic was off last time, so I had to check. I just want to talk to you guys about the Lord's calling this semester, where He's called me. I want to talk about what I've been doing, and next, just where I'm going to go next, and what the Lord has for me, I believe. So my second slide was up there, so I'll just leave it. But what's on it is Ephesians 4, 1. But I'm going to read Ephesians 4, 1 through 6 for you guys really quick. It's a passage that has spoken to me throughout this whole semester. It's kind of my section of the year. So let me just read it for you guys really quick. I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you to walk worthy of the calling with which you were called, with all lowliness and gentleness, with long suffering, bearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. I really just like that whole section. But the first line, when Paul says, "I beseech you to walk worthy of the calling with which you were called," that has spoken to me just throughout this both of these semesters. And I'm going to talk about it as I go through this. But first, I'm going to share a story with you guys. So I'm at the end of the first semester, and I'm like super anxious. Everyone else is kind of figuring out what they want to do, and they all have these dreams and aspirations and these goals that they're setting themselves. And I'm sitting here like I don't know what I'm going to do at all. And it was just something I was super anxious about. And kind of going into my testimony in high school, kind of how I came to Christ was I felt purposeless, and I was presented with a purpose, and I just plunged full head first into it. And that purpose was following Jesus and getting to know Him better and building a relationship with Him. And so, feeling this, I was just super anxious. I didn't know what to do. And I live on the east side of Indy, so it's like a 40-minute drive to Vertical every day. So I'm driving home, and I have time just with me and my thoughts and music most of the time. But I'm just sitting there thinking, and you guys know that feeling when you feel the Spirit speak to you. And He just said, like, why are you worried? Like, I've got you. I've got your back, and I'm here with you. So I don't know why you're so anxious about this. And I just felt super convicted in that moment. And going through that week, I'm going to talk a little bit about it later, but I serve in Awana, and the verses that the kids were memorizing that week was, "Do not be anxious, let your requests be made known to God." That verse, they just, over and over and again, they were kept messing up the verse. "Do not be anxious, do not be anxious, do not be anxious," pounding it into my head. And it was just something that the Lord orchestrated in a really beautiful way. And so, kind of after that Wednesday, driving to Vertical on Thursday, I'm like, all right, Lord, you're right. I'm just going to give this to you. This isn't mine. My future is in your hands. I want to be completely dominated by your Spirit. And wherever you lead me, I will go. And so, this Sunday, that same week on Sunday, my head pastor walks up and he's like, "Hey, Sawyer, what are you doing with your life right now?" Basically, he added some small talk, but that's basically what the question was. And I was telling him about Vertical, and at the time I was doing the SoundPoint video, so I was working on the SoundPoint project, and I was making the video, and I told him how much I loved it, how much I loved building the story, putting the pieces together, how I wanted the story to sound to people, how I perceived the story, and I told him how much I loved it, how much I love the storytelling aspect of it. And he was like, "Well, Sawyer, I have a video pastor here that's making a video for every single ministry, and he needs help." So I was like, "Okay, there you go." And it was just like an answer of, walk worthy of the calling with which you were called. I have these skills, I have this passion to do this, and I found a slot I can fit in. This same Sunday, about 15 minutes later, my youth pastor walks up and he goes, "Hey, Sawyer, I feel like you're the first one I need to tell. I want to intern for next year. You should consider something about it." The same Sunday, the same week that I was feeling these thoughts of, I have no idea what I'm going to do. And I just surrendered it to the Lord. And I was like, all right, let me pray about it. It sounds like something I'd love to do. I've always been passionate about high school ministry because it's where I got saved. I needed someone to grab a hold of me in that time. And I got grabbed a hold of. And man, I was just two things in the same day where I was like, wow, the Lord He's given me some slots I can fill. And then the same Sunday, 15 minutes later, the director of admissions of Bible college comes up and he's like, "Hey, Sawyer, I feel like I need to tell you, we're starting some evening classes this next semester. You should consider joining these." And it's just like, all right, Lord, three things in the same day where I'm like, this is something I could do. And I was just super excited about it after this, but I just constantly was in prayer and considering these things. I don't know where my third slide is, but my third slide lists my Clifton strengths. My Clifton strengths are, if I can remember them off the top of my head, relator, belief, um, communicator, woo, which was like winning people over, and arranger. So I was like kind of going through the CliftonStrengths, the second semester of vertical. The Lord was super sweet, and I realized that the unique giftings that God had given me have fit into this idea that the Spirit put into my head. And it was just something super sweet where the Lord revealed kind of what he wanted me to do. He revealed why I would fit there. And then he is asking me to walk it out. And so I'm sitting second semester and I'm like, wow, this is so awesome. This next season is going to be awesome. I'm telling Tom about it. Tom's getting excited about it. I'm telling my other classmates. And I'm just super pumped about this next season. And then, once again, driving home from vertical, and the Lord's like, why are you excited for this next season? Why aren't you doing it right now? You know, and once again, I was hit with the rock of walk worthy of the calling with which you are called, that verse says. I'm not walking right now. I'm just thinking about, oh, later I'm going to be able to do this. Instead of saying, right now, how can I use the gifts that God has given me to benefit the kingdom? And that's what we're talking about in Tom's class a lot. And it was just something that was super, super convicting. So here, ministry involvement. This is what I've been doing throughout this last semester that has had an unbelievable impact on me. I'm just going to touch on two of them. Monday mandate. So every Monday, guys get together in the gym and we wrestle. And so it's actually called jiu-jitsu. So it's like technical wrestling and like you're trying to like choke each other out and stuff. But basically a bunch of sweaty guys just rolling around and having fun. But there's like 15 to 20 guys there every day. And just the Lord has used me there in really like powerful ways. The people here don't necessarily go to church. It's like a way of like, hey, there's a bunch of guys that wrestle at this church gym, and they come and they're like, hey, you need to come to church now. It's just like a way to get them there, you know, and get them in the door. So there's been so many people that just had an awesome testimony. There's a guy that our head pastor found in the woods, and he was smoking, and he's like, hey, you should come to jiu-jitsu on Monday. And he comes, and now he comes to church, and he got saved at a men's advance. And just being able to be there and pour into these people has been just something super sweet that the Lord has done. And I've used my giftings and the just building relationships with them. It doesn't even have to be about the Bible. We talk about UFC a lot, and just I connect with them that way, and then that's how I get in the door. And then you can really speak life into their life. Something else, Bible classes. I really believe that the Lord has given me a gifting in teaching. I have a super big passion for it. I love doing it. And over this last semester, I've gotten the opportunity to teach several times. Like I said earlier in the mentorship thing, my uncle is the principal of the school, so I got some benefits there. And he's like, if you want to sub, like I need a Bible sub. So now when the Bible teachers are out sick or when they're going on a trip, I'm like a sub, and he'll call me or someone will call me and they'll be like, hey, I need a sub. Sometimes it's the night before, sometimes it's 2 weeks before. So it's just been super sweet to be able to teach those classes. I have an hour and 30 minutes to teach. I'm like, wow, that's super daunting. I have an hour and 30 minutes. What am I going to talk about for an hour and 30 minutes? But we really just have a good time, and we'll go on a walk in the middle of it, and I'll just get to know them. And it's just a super sweet time. Next, I put this in its own slide. Awana. So there are some of the Awana kids. So I kind of stumbled into Awana this year. I didn't really feel necessarily called. The children's pastor just kind of walked up to me and he's like, hey, I need people in Awana. And I was like, all right, I'm not doing anything on Wednesdays. I'll try it out. I'll see what it is. And it was kind of at first something that I just did to help out and fill a need that needed to be filled. But really just through the year of Awana, it has been super sweet. And kind of talking with my little cousin Keaton, I have a love for these kids that I didn't have at first. I'm with the 4th grade boys, and the things that they're going through are like hard things, like problems with their fathers on drugs, parents with cancer, family members with heart issues. And it's just like really challenging stuff. These kids bring in prayer requests every week. It's like heartbreaking, and it really does break your heart. And just walking through it with them and asking them questions, asking them how they are. They'll come to Awana like super, either they're acting out or they're mad or they're just upset. They won't talk to you. Like every kid's got something. Some kid will act out, and it's just like finding the reason behind why they're doing this. It's more than coming to Awana and say like, hey, stop acting out like that, or why aren't you talking? Like, come be involved. It's more like, hey, like, what's wrong? Like, what do you need help with? And it's just been, I can see the Lord working in my life with these boys, and it's been super awesome in that way. Informational interviews. Once again, also like the Tom mentorship thing, I did not want to do these informational interviews. There's another thing I had to add onto the schedule. I had to schedule with some people, some professional people. I had to act all professional, dress up, and do some nice things, and that's not me. But I think I took something a little bit different out of these. But then Tom and Susan said, no, that's actually what we wanted you to take out of them. So I met with pastors, missionaries, church planters, a bunch of people I knew, some people I didn't know, and I just got to sit down with them for an hour and talk to them about ministry. And each one of them had a different definition of what ministry was. Each one of them had a different view. Not all of them came from the same background. Not all of them did the same thing. And it was just super interesting and just super awesome to be able to sit with people and talk about like the word and talk about what it meant to be a light and ambassador of Jesus Christ. So that was just something that I loved, and it really had a big impact on me, even though I didn't think it would. So finally, I want to get to the final part. Let's hope it's here. Here it is. So all the climbers will laugh because I talked about experiencing God this last semester so much. So I read this book, Experiencing God. It was actually a workbook. We went through it every Friday, and it has had a profound impact on how I believe the Spirit moves and how I believe God moves. And I really am still sometimes sitting in the car on the way home from Vertical Immersive, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm going to go do an internship. I'm going to go to Bible college. How am I going to make money as like a youth pastor? How am I going to like buy a house? How am I going to build a family? You know, all these things. It's like some of these things are difficult questions. But this this section, it says, Lord, I will follow you even when I don't know where you are leading. This section, he talks about never in the history of the Bible did God say, all right, Abraham, here's what you're going to do, and then lay out a 50-point plan. He said, all right, Abraham, you should just leave the land, and I'll show you a new land, right? He just gives them the first step. And just something that I've been super encouraged by in this is God doesn't speak to you in a whole long list. He gives you one step at a time and sees if you're faithful to make this step. And then he gives you another step and sees if you're faithful to make another step. So I just want to encourage you all that if you're dominated by the Holy Spirit and you're completely surrendered to God, you can just watch and see what God will do in your life. Wrong way. Does anybody have any questions?
What are you most looking forward to? Three things thrown away. What are you most looking for?
I think the youth internship I am so pumped about. I have this last like 2 months, the Lord has gotten me closer to so many of the younger, like freshman, sophomore boys specifically that I like hadn't known, and just by circumstance, like I would show up to something that they would be at, and I'd get to talk to them. So I think just those relationships that I already have, I'm so excited to like jump full in, and like this is what I'm gonna be doing full time. I'm gonna full time be getting lunch with these kids and like sitting down at a lunch table in school and just talking to them, asking them how they are. I'm just super excited about that aspect and be able to walk in the hallways of the school and just see them and just be around people. That's what I'm most excited about, I think, for sure, and just have that aspect of it. So I'm super excited about that.
This is just a compliment. And as you were talking, I just thought this is going to be an awesome guest. Really good.
Thank
You
you.
know the word and you have confidence, and I think that'd be awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, thank you.
Where do you think your biggest area of unique growth is?
I think that I have so many areas of growth, Andy, to answer your question. There's a lot that I have to grow in, but something else, another book I've been reading is Spiritual Leadership. And I was sharing this with Andy earlier. I think he's given me a layup to say this quote. But the quote is, God doesn't need gifted people. He needs people who are willing to obey. So I just want to encourage you guys with that it's not about the giftings you have, but it's about the willingness to obey. So I'm just ready to obey, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of areas of growth, but I'm ready for it. So, yes, Miss Susan.
Yeah, you just gave me the layup.
Yeah.
So you've already grown in obedience because you told us today a couple things that you didn't want to do, but you did anyway, and you learned from it.
Yeah.
What's the next obedience that God is asking you to do that you don't want to do?
Yeah. What a question. What a question.
We've got time.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it is.
Do I? I think that there's a lot of event planning that's going to happen with this youth internship. My youth pastor is a guy who was my mentor through high school and was part of the reason why I think he wanted me to do this internship with him. But he told me his quote, the first time I met with him about talking about this internship, he goes, "If you take this internship, you're going to hate me." And I was like, oh my gosh. And he was just listing out things that he wanted me to do. And I'm really dreading the aspect of event planning. And I'm not a very planful person. I'm just kind of like get up there and do it and go for it type of thing. I think a lot of you know that. But there's some aspects of it that I don't want to do, but I need to be obedient in it and I need to grow in it. So that's what I would say.
Bless you in that growth edge.
Yes. Thanks. Thank you, Miss Edie.
Sawyer, you are an encourager. In the time that I've known you, you've not been afraid to speak out in small groups and in large group discussions. You're one of those people that decides that, you know what, I'm trying to lead my thing home yourself and it well on.
Thank you. All right. Yes, Kaya.
So as you're talking to people in the future, what is the one thing that you want to do? Yes.
Yeah, I think the society in high school today very much focuses on the emotional aspect of the gospel. I want something big I have had on my heart for a while that I want to leave, and specifically the high school, is that just because you don't feel God doesn't mean God's not there. You know, I think that's something that's huge. And Tom's giving me thumbs up because that's what we learned in his class, right? But I think that the whole aspect of feeling is like something new that's in the new world today. And it's like almost like a new gospel, like I feel God or I feel the Spirit. But that's not what God is at all. It's way more than an emotion and way more than a feeling. So I think that would be the biggest thing. I'm not a very emotional person in the first place, so maybe that's something that the Lord's put in my heart in that way. But I think that would be the biggest aspect of it, and just the discipline of walking out your faith every day in a place where maybe it's not easy to do. So that's what I would say. Any last questions? I think that I just want to stay connected to Vertical in any way I can with any opportunities. I already have some opportunities on the horizon, but anything that Vertical can give me, I just love the people here and all the mentors, just staying connected with Tom and Susan and all the other facilitators. You've all had impacts on me in crazy ways. So I just want to stay connected, and I know you guys will want to stay connected with me as well. So that's what I would say. Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate your time.